Typhoon Wanda originally formed as a tropical depression over the Pacific Ocean on August 27th. It was 1,300 miles northwest of Hong Kong. It moved northeast at 15 knots. This speed gradually intensified, and by the next day, Typhoon Wanda was a severe tropical storm. For those of you who do not know, a tropical depression is a gathering of thunderclouds over the Pacific in specific atmospheric conditions.
The effects of Typhoon Wanda were extensive. Approximately 7,200 people were registered as being homeless. Of a total of 20,287 small crafts in colony waters, 726 of those ships were wrecked, 571 were sunk, and approximately 756 were damaged. This typhoon played havoc with the crops in the new territories, flooding about 650 acres of paddy fields with seawater and reducing the annual rice production by nearly 20% compared to 1961.
Many cars were damaged during Typhoon Wanda. Most with just broken windscreens, only a few sustained more serious damage. Property damage was never fully assessed during Typhoon Wanda. Urban areas were littered with galvanized iron sheets and bamboo scaffolding. More than 700 squatter and rooftop huts were damaged. 1,300 were made uninhabitable.
So powerful is complicated. The environmental factors that led to the destruction of Typhoon Wanda included the fact that the tides of Hong Kong generally consist of alternating large and small groups. Each day there is normally one maximum high water average of 7 feet.
And the atmospheric pressure surrounding Typhoon Wanda was sufficiently low, causing an increase of sea level about 1.5 feet. This was to take the shape of a huge dome of water 100 miles across.
Despite the fact that Typhoon Wanda was the most powerful typhoon that Hong Kong has seen, it was not the most costly one.
In 1937, a typhoon, commonly referred to as the Great Typhoon, struck Hong Kong. It just occurred a day later than Typhoon Wanda. It took the lives of 11,000 people, which back then was equivalent to 1% of Hong Kong's population. The winds were so strong that the instruments used to record the winds broke.
Out of a fleet of 40 Aberdeen junks, only 5 crew members survived. 18 liner vessels, including the British Indian ship Talamba, were thrashed against the shore, flung out to the buildings.
For disasters, Typhoon Wanda was the stronger typhoon, whereas the Great Typhoon was the more costly typhoon. This might not make much sense, but the reason for this is because the typhoon started at night, so nobody could see the floods approaching. Nobody had time to prepare.
You're watching the 6 p.m. news on RTV. I am your host, Noel Tong, and this is your outlet.
Today marks the first anniversary of Typhoon Wanda, which struck early fall last year. The city is far on its way into its reconstruction. Many lives have been rebuilt, and families have been reunited. However, there's still one thing that plagues many of us at night. Tune in after the break to hear more about this deadly disease.
Welcome back. This is the 6 p.m. news on RTV. I'm Noel Tong.
And I'm Noel Love. As I mentioned earlier, the first few serious bouts of cholera was reported in mid-August 1961, which is 2 years ago. It resembled classical cholera, in which cholera vibrios are transmitted through contaminated water or food. However, the technique of night soil sampling, which is obtaining human excretions late at night, was devised, and a sample recently obtained indicated the presence of a large number of symptomless excretors of cholera vibrios among the population. Primary symptoms of cholera are painless diarrhea and vomiting of clear fluids. Dehydration is also a primary symptom, which if left untreated may be life-threatening. Signs of dehydration are easy to spot. Low blood pressure will be present. The victim will also experience dizziness, fainting, swelling of the tongue. Cholera, which originates from poor sanitary conditions, is, as we mentioned earlier, normally transmitted through contaminated water or food. However, we can now safely say that the cases reported in the past few months have been spread differently. Scientists are now hard at work to figure out what caused it.
Recently, our city has suffered from a few serious droughts. The water supply wasn't enough to support the needs of our rapidly growing nation. As you all know, when China cut off our water supply, water was scarce and only available to us every 4 days. You are watching the 6 p.m. Pearl News. There has been another confirmed case of SARS. A businessman who was traveling through Hong Kong and the Guangdong province visited the hotel that the first reported victim in Hong Kong had stayed in, a Chinese doctor from South China. It is believed that this infected doctor from Guangdong province carried this flu-like disease to Hong Kong Metro Park Hotel, where the guests are all being tested. Tune in after the break to hear more about this. Welcome back. As we had said earlier, SARS, also known as Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, is spreading in Hong Kong. SARS is believed to be spread by this Chinese doctor, who is in intensive care in Conghua Hospital. The businessman staying across from him after landing in Hanoi, Vietnam, fell ill and has been admitted to the French hospital of Hanoi. The officials are pondering whether they should shut down the Hong Kong Metro Park Hotel or not. The most common symptoms of SARS include the fever, which has been found in 100% of patients, chills, rigors, or both, were found in 73.2% of victims, and muscle pains. Cough and headaches were also reported in more than 50% of the patients. If you have any of these symptoms, please consult a doctor immediately. This resembles to the cholera in 1961 to 1963, where it has been spread in surrounding areas in Hong Kong. Cholera is easily spread by contaminated water and food in poor conditions, while SARS is spread by person-to-person contact. They have the same symptoms, like muscle pains, low blood pressure, and more. They can be both life-threatening if left untreated. Vaccinations that prevent SARS have been ordered and will be arriving shortly in the Hong Kong hospitals for standby.